Hello, here we are again with our Belgrade Photo Month live talks, conversations with. Today, we have the pleasure to be with another of our partners festivals. This is Panoràmic Festival from Granollers, from Barcelona. We had the pleasure to have them last year in Belgrade. Chiara Fabro, one of the two persons who will talk today. She was representing Panoràmic Festival here in the Filmska Galleria with one exhibition that was the result of a workshop that the Greece Art School of Photography did in some refugee camps in Iraq. It was an exhibition that it was there for, I think, 3 months. A lot of people enjoyed this exhibition. Probably if you went anytime to Filmska Galleria in Kulturni Center Beograda during, I think that was from April to September, probably you saw it. Well, just to say, well, that we're going to talk today with them. They will be, means they are part of BelgradePhotoMonth 2020. BelgradePhotoMonth will be part of Panoramic Festival 2020. Last year, Nikita Esbertilov, who was one of the 3 winners of the New Talents, was in Granollers. And this year also will be in the space that we will share with other festival partners. And well, what to say? What else? Also, we have the nice the nice situation that they told us that they also choose this year, this edition, they choose few of our New Talents 10 finalists. They choose some of them that they will be also part of the festival, but okay, they will talk us more about this. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to invite Chiara Fabro, who was already last year in Belgrade. She is the production and communication coordinator of Panoramic Festival, and we'll have also Andrés Núñez, who is the advisor of Panoramic Festival. I just want to say hello to them. I am putting the audio in if I can.
Hi, David.
Now,
Thank you, BelgradePhotoMonth, to have us with you today.
Thank you to you.
Hi there.
Hi. Say,
I just want to say Hispano. Andrés Hispano, in any case.
Oh, sorry. What did I say? I said Andrés Núñez. Oh, sorry. I apologize. Sorry.
Sure.
Okay. Well, just let's start because last year we had the exhibition, the amazing exhibition, but we didn't make any kind of formal introduction of the festival to the audience like a lot of times we're doing, like we expect to do this year, like probably we are going to do whenever the festival could be done. But in any case, we're not going to lose the opportunity to do it today. Then, well, let me start. How this Panoramic Festival start and who is part of this festival?
I will talk in the name of the festival, and Panoramic is an idea coming from Fidel Balaguer and Albert Guzzi, which are both directors of Greece Art. And it's Greece Art. The last year I came to Belgrade with for the exhibition of the Iraq project. So those two entities are really linked together. And actually the festival is organized by Greece Art between other organizations. And so the festival born because of the idea of these two persons. They were already partners together in Greece Art, and they decided to run a new project together, and they really wanted to put up a festival, but a very different one, because actually they really wanted to, considering also the importance of the video in the last year, to put together 2 subjects that were cinema and photography. Then Andrés we'll talk about it more theoretically afterwards, but so that was the project. And they also had a partnership somehow in terms of friendships and years. They worked together with Joan Foncuberta, which is a super well-known photographer. And so they discussed along with him about this new idea. And Joan proposed a location in which he already has his own atelier, which is very interesting because It's called Roconverte and is in Granollers. And it's a huge closed old textile industry. The industry closed around 1991. And then it starts to develop as a industry of arts. So there are really a lot of spaces reserved for cultural activities like creation, dance schools, music productions. So it's really a big space. I can show you some pictures, some archive pictures I put together for you, so you can have an idea about this space, because it's actually really huge. And so they decided to run the first edition of the festival in this location.
Okay, Chiara, show us later the space. Let's go to see,
Yeah.
because I am also very curious, because I had to say that I had the pleasure to be there last year, and it was a pleasure, and a difficulty was not easy, because if the people remember, it was a quite big strikes in Catalonia. We had a general strike, and, but in any case, we were there, we enjoyed
Really
it.
difficult to reach the place, right?
Yes. But I have to be honest, I arrived and I left and I came back to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Granollers is a very nice place. I was working for a lot of years near there, but I never knew about this space that later you will talk us about. I have another question that probably Andres, you can help us more with this, because I know that the festival is including photography, is somehow is including video. Can you tell us which is the point of the festival in how is managing both disciplines together, or how the festival does?
Well, hi. There are many festivals where you can find from different perspectives, from contemporary art to whatever, where you can find, in fact, pictures, photography, film, and video together. That's one point. That's, I guess, a regular thing right now. But the point here was to find what's between the two mediums. Obviously, there are linked mediums, also different mediums. They have tried from many years ago to be exhibited together. For instance, like from 1929, I think it was at Stuttgart, where they tried to exhibit for the first time both mediums together. But the fact is that photography is solid, is an object, it needs light to be appreciated. Film is immaterial, you need darkness, or you needed darkness to appreciate it. So it hasn't been that easy to show them together. Of course, right now, a screen is something that can be placed anywhere. And between still images and moving images, there are many things in between happening. It's not only the fact that it's the same camera that you use for one or another, it's also the same screen that you have to watch one or another. So it's a really new territory right now, what's happening, not just by professionals, by artists, also by whoever wants to take a use of the camera. And that's taking us to a new territory. I think it's very interesting. And so here in Panoramic, the idea was to find, of course, photographs, film, and video, but to explore the area in between. What happens in the film or in the video aesthetics from the memory of photographic uses, and what happens in photography after video has got everywhere. So this is the challenge, basically. And there are happening lots of things. And the most interesting thing is that they're happening in the professional area, in the artistic area, and also in the amateur area. There are happening very interesting things in our mobile phones every day. And these weeks of COVID, we've seen many phenomena happening. We call them TikTok, or we call them whatever, a new name for a small brief format, but most of them are very wheat and very interesting in terms of use and interchanging. So that's what we have to pay attention, I think.
And probably with this aim, this what you talk is probably for what the idea of the festival was on. Probably, Chiara, you can tell me about. I mean, this is one, let's say, gap in the matter of the festivals that we have in Catalonia that nobody was using. That was the aim that Panoramic founded.
Yes, indeed. There are many festivals. Well, as you know, actually, even on the European, international level, not just European, many festivals dedicated to photography exclusively. but and many film festivals as well. But I don't think there are. I'm sure there are not, and that was the gap missing. Festival linking those two subjects together and getting to analyze projects and artist works dedicated to this, because actually there is like a group of artists which are really putting those subjects together.
Yeah, well, I mean, somehow, of course, there are like artists. There are artists that using photography like a part of their work, including video, including whatever. Indeed,
and more. Well, as Grisart is I didn't say that actually, but Grisart is not just an entity, but a school of photography, an international one. And also we dedicate a lot of time in developing video, because it's a big branch now in the field of images that has to be developed even as professionals. So it's really now spreading, I think, even with technology, this link between the two.
Perfect. Well, and the result is amazing, I can say, last year. Then I know that every year you choose a theme for the festival. Well, let's say, because we'll say to the people, this festival was born in 2017. No, the first edition was 2017. Indeed. Now we are going to work for the 2020, is the fourth edition. Can you talk about the topics that they choose every year? It means, like I said before, last year you had Nikita Svertilov, that was also part of our BelgradePhotoMonth. Last year you had names like Jan Foncuberta, Cristina de Middel, or Martin Parr. I know that there are good names for this year, but can you talk about how were the different editions, evolutions, if you want to show us some images, how it was? Yes?
Yes.
Sure, I can tell you about the thing that you said about the subjects or the themes or the motifs that have been occurred in each edition. I think maybe an edition of Panoràmic can take place without a particular subject too. But to this point, we have given a name and a subject to each particular edition. The first one was dedicated to an obvious thing in between film and photography, which is the film stills, not just from the film industry, but the concept, a certain concept of tableau vivant that has permeated contemporary art, like Gregory Crewdson or Jim Wall. Many artists are doing photography right now with a certain sense of narrative on the image. No? So it's about this transference of film aesthetic, painting aesthetic at first, then film narrative, and then into photography. That was the subject of the first edition. The second one was 1968, not just because how great and controversial was that year, but because that was the first year, 3 decades before Rodney King, where people had the chance to take pictures and do films and to change in a certain way the pulse of history from independent press. The first independent press was in 1967, from the Vietnam War, whatever. Something changed in the management of information, of visual information, and that was interesting. The third edition was dedicated to the moon, not just because of the anniversary of the first landing on the moon, but also because it was on TV, and that made a difference too. DirecTV was not an innovation of 1968, but I think to many people, to watch the landing on the moon on their own TV at home marked a difference on the experience of what television or what moving images and information would be like. At that point, I have to say, in 1968, there was no reliable method on tape to register that moment. So they had to be, photographs had to be taken straight from the TV screens at that moment. And those images are the ones printed by Newsweek, Time, or whoever. So it was an interesting moment to measure what was the state of the art in the relation of television, film, and photography. As you know, all the tapes of the Apollo 11 mission have been lost. This is food for conspiranoids, but this is true. And this year is going to be dedicated to extremity, which is a subject we decided way before the corona bit. And it's very interesting, I think, because something has happened through technology on our private lives. And it seems that we love to share it. That used not to be what privacy was like, but it seems that now we take some joy in sharing, not with a particular person, but with everybody, which is outstanding enough. And there are many things happening. There are many sides to this, and we thought it was very interesting, especially because this is something happening from the palm of the hand of everybody. It's not just taking place from certain artists or certain elite. This is happening from the base, and the rest, the academy, whoever wants, the artists are going forward, are trying to understand exactly what's happening. And the vanguard this time, the avant-garde is in the hands of everybody. And we're trying to cope with that. And of course, these weeks of Corona bit has taken us much further on that. And we're going to get much deeper if we can.
I suppose, of course, I didn't, the open call is still open or is closed already, no? I think.
We had two actually, and one was really dedicated to the moment of the quarantine, and that is still open because it's gonna last until all the states get back to the new normality somehow. Okay. But as Spain, for example, there is still el estado de alarma activated.
Yes.
So that one is still open, and that is really a clear example of extremity, I guess, where people spending a lot of time in their home are now showing and putting everything is happening between their walls on the web, you know? Yeah. So that is a clear example. That one is still open, and Open Panoramic is closed, but yeah.
In any case, you have the open calls in your website, in the Panoramic Festival website. They can find them there.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Okay. I can imagine. I don't know if you are checking the project that you're receiving, but I can imagine how many diverse, different proposals the people is sending. Because I saw in other places, and every work is a different wall somehow, and we are just close at home.
Yes, yeah. So you're talking about the call regarding the quarantine, right? Yes. That's a very different way of imagining your own. What is your own intimacy? No, your own space, your own what people do, what kind of activities, what do they want to show? Actually, no, because also extimacy can be shown in different ways. It can be a way of being a voyeur, a way of showing off part of yourself, doing a lot of selfing of yourself, or like, it's really a lot of nuances about this concept.
Yeah, well, okay. Then let me ask, we talked before about the topics that you choose every year, okay? How do you choose, how or who choose these topics? Means you have a curatorial team in the or somebody who is 2 or 3 people deciding which topic will be for the topic of the year or for the next year?
I'm telling you more the organization part, then Andres is going to go deeper into the advisor team. But the festival is keeping a fixed team of advisors, which one is actually shared with the direction team, and is Joan Foncuberta, and the other ones are Andres Hispano and Feliz Perecita. So this is actually the fixed team we have, and then we change one of the advisors every year. This also to enrich new proposals and to change a little.
Okay, Andres, how do you work to choose the topics?
Andres, do you?
Well, there were from the beginning so many topics, from science to art, that somehow we found that linked film and photography or moving image, let's say, and still image, that the only problem is to put some order in there and not to make an anniversary every year, because there are subjects that we'd love every year to celebrate. So it's we started with film stills because it looked like a very general subject that linked obviously these both mediums. But what we do in this advising team is to put everything, then let's see which one was the most charming for us this year. Frankly, it's a long list of subjects we want to take a look from this other perspective, and with each and every one of them, and some new that will come out. I hope, for instance, one I think is very.
I think that we have a small connection problem with Andres.
Yeah, I'm also losing the signal of him.
Okay, it's coming back. Okay,
Great.
we're back. Don't worry. Don't worry. The net is like it is. Okay, you mentioned that you have already.
I was just saying that there is one something that I hope. I said that I hope from the first days of photography, precisely from the days of Muybridge and Marais, film and photography have been related. Science, we will find another edition, but there are so many to do that, frankly, it's a delicious conversation or discussion every year to decide the subject. But it's a matter of group, and we'll decide. Finally, voting.
Okay, like we say in Spanish, la sangre no llega al río. The blood is not right.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, better. Okay, and like we say, now will be the 4th edition. It's not a 50 years festival, but I'm sure that in 4 years, because it's a festival that is working very hard and doing the things very well, I'm sure that there is an evolution in everything. Number of exhibitions, relevance of artists, material, venues, time, numbers in global in general. Can you talk about us? Probably you, Chiara, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I think as every festival, the first editions are the one that you're like kind of testing yourself, no? So the first one, of course, was really was smaller than the other ones, and every edition is getting bigger and bigger. And this is a matter of surely it's a matter of funding, for sure, but it's also a matter of getting importance and getting recognized by the organizations. So getting the opportunity from other partners to get involved in new projects, in new spaces. So it's something, I guess, you know it too, David, is festival is a process of growing and of getting more importance. So the first edition was indeed smaller. And but already the second one, we got more artists involved, more spaces, and even though I have to say, and then probably Andres can also explain it, we had to face this the first edition, maybe not the first one, but the second one already, some difficulties that also had a reflection in the audience we had, because the second edition was took place during the Catalan political issues. So that was no, sorry, the third edition. The third edition, and so that was as indeed a reaction, no, in the people that could reach the site and the organization involved. There were many strikes, so it was actually very like heavy in Catalonia. And this year was the coronavirus, so we managed to keep working and to organize all the activities besides some difficulties we really had, and besides the fact that, as you know, when those things happen, normally it's the cultural environment the first that gets touched, you know. So Panoràmic really fought for this, but last year we had I think was the really first time we had those big international names as photographers like Martin Parr and Cristina De Mido, and that was really a goal. And this year we're gonna have Antoine Dagata, and he's also like a huge symbol in the world of photography. So we are really proud we can work with them. And the new one of the news of the fourth edition is that we're gonna have a feat in Barcelona as well. So the festival managed to get out from Granollers. We're gonna get even more spreading in Granollers and trying to involve as many entities, private and public, as we can, but also to arrive in Barcelona is very important because we can spread even more the works of artists and well, and the project itself as Festival Panoràmic, no, is a way to widen the audience.
Will be also like let's say local or internal promotion. It means you know, it means Barcelona is Barcelona. We cannot avoid this. It means for the good and for the bad, Barcelona is Barcelona.
Exactly, exactly. And I guess also it's not because people living in Barcelona are really, but Barcelona is a huge metropolis. So there is a way a lot of people compared to, you know, yes, sometimes it's really also complicated for people to move, no, from a big city to a village. So this is, I think, is actually kind of a natural evolution of the festival itself, no, to keep its historical site, which is Granollers, and to develop also in other points of.
Let's have in mind that in Catalonia, you know, David, there's a great tradition of photography, and there's a great tradition on art, and there's also a great tradition on cinema. But we have not an important art fair. We have not an important museum or central collection for photography. We have an archive, an important one, but probably the most important collections of photography are not centralized. So there's a great hunger, I think, from the side of the people, from some meetings, festivals, or gatherings to join around art and photography and cinema. There's still like a gap there, there's a void, and Panoràmic is filling one of these voids. And I think it should be easy to grow in those terms, because there are no great opportunities in Barcelona as in proportion to the great hunger appetite that there are for part of the people and the tradition that there is on photography, for instance. No, we have La Roca, Colita, Pomés, Misrac, whatever you want. We still don't have a great photograph festival or a great photograph or museum or cultural center dedicated to it. And this is something that active culture provides a solution somehow, and Panoràmic is part of it. So it's in Granollers. It can grow to other cities, but it can grow as much as it does things well, because the people and the hunger is out there.
Of course. I will say that like a visitor, because I can give you the point of view like a visitor that I was last year, also with the difficulties. For me, I will tell you, I was coming from the center without car. That is the easy way always. I was coming by train. It was something very easy, because Granollers is not a small place, but means the venues that you had, they were not so spread around the city, around the town, around Granollers. And for me, I felt very comfortable to move from one venue to another one, enjoying one exhibition. I read that we were like a group presenting the different exhibitions. It was very, let's say, easy and comfortable and easygoing. Means it was a pleasure, because okay, you take the train to what means is this feeling that you are going to do something special, you know. And the good things, they need a bit of effort, you know, not just to take the metro 2 stations and you are in the place. It means take the train, go half an hour, not more. You have one train every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know. The last one is at 11 in the night, probably, you know. In Belgrade, sometimes we have the problem, because Belgrade is not small. We can say that it's the same size of Barcelona in terms of population and dimensions. But the point is that, of course, the center is taking more care of everything. It means there are not a lot of things out of the center, but the center is not really small. And then for some people from Belgrade, it looks like to go to a gallery that is not exactly in the center is not so easy, you know. And then sometimes I make a joke that because the area of the center is Starigrad or Dorcho, I said that we are going to have the name to Dorcho PhotoMonth at the end, you know, because sometimes it looks that it's hard to move the people, and then we try to push this nice and very interesting exhibitions for us, like is a photo book, to put it a bit out of the center, because it has to be is in itself a very good exhibition. It has to be a big motivation to to move the people somehow.
Sí. Difficult.
But having one foot in Barcelona is also not bad.
Indeed, indeed. No, I think it's important. But it's also nice because this is a nice aspect of Rocco. I will show you some pictures of Rocco, so it's easier for the others to understand. It's nice because you get into this this place that you have really a lot of to discover. There is a spot in Rocco which is called La Termica. It's really that's the really old industry. So you're walking between tubes and pipes and yeah. And it's really dark, so it's really nice.
Yes. Can you show us?
Yes, I'll show you.
Yes.
See. Let me try if I understood this thing of.
I think while you show these images, I think that it's also important, especially from now on, to design the venues, having in mind that many things are going to happen online. So, of course, people needs to meet people and to go to places. But as you said, this experience of going to places is worthwhile. And so things in photography doesn't happen in Paris, in France, precisely. No, you have to go elsewhere. And this travel, this effort has to be priced, has to have a reward.
Yeah.
David, can you please allow me to share my screen?
Oh, you are. I mean, sorry if I. Again, let me see how I. Wait a second. Because before it happened the same, and now yes, I think that you can.
Is it okay? Can you
see?
Do you see the picture now?
Not yet.
Okay. Now you should.
Yes.
Yes. Now we do.
Okay. So those are archive pictures, so they're not mine. And this is an aerial view of Rocco. So you can see a little bit of Granollers around, but this is the complex of the building complex in which all the festivals take place. But that's also, as I said, is industry of art. No, so there are a lot of artists in spaces reserved for artists in residence. There is a dance school, an audiovisual center, a radio. So it's really a very active and productive place in the center of the city. And so I think, well, the last building on your right, that's called La Termica. I will show you some picture more. So that's inside. You can see some narrow streets of Rocco. And you can already see that as being invaded by art.
Yes, beautiful. To have a space like this in a city like Granollers is priceless.
Yeah, it's a really, really stunning place.
Means we can give congratulations to the last probably 20 years municipality of Granollers, to the mayors.
Yeah, there are many activities on different levels for families, for artists, for intellectuals. It's really, there is a library as well. This one
and the festival is using, because when you are inside, I mean, when you enter to enjoy the festival, you lose yourself, because there are corners, corridors, stairs up, stairs down. Like you said before, it sometimes looks like if you are in a terror movie, and then you discover a video installation around there. It's fascinating, but you get lost somehow because it's huge.
That was also one of this is also one of the goals of the festival itself, not to put together, to put it in a dialogue, photography, cinema, and the historical, well, the place of Rocco, no, which has an historical importance also. So it was a dialogue between those three, because the place itself somehow is an exhibition, no?
Yes.
And this is is a thermal. How could you
Yeah.
translate La Termica? Is a
Well, I don't mean how to say. It's the thermal part. It means I suppose that they are all the valves or all the circuits for the hot water for the.
exactly.
It's a powerhouse.
Exactly. And so we did this year. We will not use it because we cannot. It's under renovations. So for this year, it's going to be closed. But every year, we arrange the first 2 years a collective exhibition, and last year a solo one. And so it's really, really charming because in this place you really get super lost. And behind every corner you can have a screen, or you can have a projection, or you can have a picture hanging. So it's really like, this is really labyrinthic and really gives you a nice feeling of exploring what you're seeing.
Amazing space, I have to
Yeah.
say.
And I have to say also that you always have people around to help you, saying, okay, go here, there is that. It means I felt lost, but it was always somebody to help you. Some voluntaries, I suppose.
Yes, it's also, well, you cannot really get lost, no, because there is part in which is better if you don't go, no.
Well,
but, yes, I can show you. Well, I will stop sharing the screen, and
okay.
I can show you.
Let's say to the people, meantime, you look, that there is like the headquarters of the festival, but just in Granollers, how many different places you had last year? 6, 7, 8?
Last year, can you see me? Sorry, I don't know. I paused something, but I don't really know what I put in pause.
I see you, and we still have one of the Sala Térmica 5 photo in the screen.
Okay, so now I should. Okay, now you see a new picture, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So yes, we have new spaces in Granollers for this year. We are trying to, well, since last year, actually, we got involved with the Museo of Granollers, which is actually the art museum of the city. And we got involved with because the theme of last year, as Andres said, was the moon landing. So we could get in touch with the Science Museum of Granollers as well, which we did an exhibition. And also they put us, they put the availability for the festival of showing the planetarium, so people could really watch stars. And yeah, it wasn't a family activity. That was really stunning. And this year we are trying also to get in contact with some local public, like some local companies, like it could be a bars, but this is not sure, like really to get into the web of Granollers. And let's see if this is gonna work. And but still we're gonna work again with the Museo of Granollers. There's gonna be an exhibition that is curated by Andres and Feliz Perezita. And we're probably gonna do a workshop in the Science Museum as well. So we are getting out of Rockenberg.
Okay. Let me ask, because the people can see it in the website, but if they are just watching us, you are doing exhibitions, you are doing projections, you are doing workshops, like you mentioned. What else? Which other activities you are doing? You are preparing for this year, for example.
Well, so we are now. This is now still not official, but I can give you a tip of what is going to happen. We are trying to arrange a symposium, which is it gets into the conference activity. But it's a symposium organized in Barcelona along with MAFRE Foundation. This is still work in progress.
Let me say something for the people who don't know. And if the people follow my page, last time I published about some photo books, amazing, that I brought from exhibition from MAFRE. MAFRE is an insurance company who has an excellent foundation dedicated to art. And in Barcelona, they have an amazing gallery that they are mainly working with photography, but not only. No, if I'm right?
Yes, yeah, indeed.
And it means they are a big good partner to join with Okay, then
It's an important
congratulations.
voice yes, totally. We are very happy to have this this project open with them, and we really hope it's gonna end good. And so the symposium is a new activity, and we do a projection. When we talk about projection, we talk about projection of artists' projects. Because, for example, the call we do, which is called Open Panoramic, the artist has to send us video projects. So this is a projection moment. And we also have a space reserved for kids. So we have a list of short movies dedicated. Well, as every movie that everybody says dedicated to kids normally is dedicated to us also. No,
Yeah.
but it can be understood also by kids in a different way.
Of course.
And then we have like a short movie and normal films projections.
You have also portfolio reviews?
Sorry?
You have also portfolio reviews?
We have a portfolio review, but somehow this is part of the Open Panoramic call.
Okay.
We've seen the Open Panoramic as a way for the artists to show their projects. Indeed, actually, we do pay them a fee to show their projects, so they have like economical rewards. But also they have the opportunity of the selected artists of the open call. They have the opportunity to show their works to professional of the art world. Then normally that can be curator or gallerist or festival directors, as you know. Many people active in this world that have the opportunity to spread the works of the artist. So there is also a moment for them to get in contact with those people that could really help them in their career in the future. It's a way of creating a contact, no?
Perfect.
So in this case, it's a portfolio review.
It's always, David, you know, there has to be a balance between your international ambition and being useful to the local artists and the local scene too. And that's the thing. I think they're trying hard, and so far so good. That's my opinion on what's happening for the local artists and the presence, but the international ambition. I think that's important.
For us, is also one of the main aims. Just this, and for that reason also is this one of the good points also of these partnerships with other festivals, that they give the chance to make these to share these projects. I will say that for the next Belgrade Photo Month, I don't know, it will be in 2020 or 2021, we're going to show the projects, or the last year, or this edition, depending when will be the festival, and will be our pleasure, of course. And yes. Well, for me is one of the social parts of the festival. Means we are done for the audience and for the artists, and that's all. And then one of the aims has to be to give visibility to the artists, especially to the young ones. Of course, everybody likes to watch the work by Martin part, and it's very nice for the audience. But for the artists, when they are starting to have these options, is basic, is imprescindible.
Absolutely, okay. This is the key. This is the key that gives sense to the festivals, especially from now on. I mean, what you cannot do online, it has no sense, is to gather people, artists from your local scene. That has to be done somehow physically. So you have to have in mind which things are now going to constitute the core of a festival and which other things can happen online, for instance. So you have to divide your efforts and your resources.
Yeah, the truth is that before this year, with this situation, we always wanted to do something. Means we didn't. In our case, in Belgrade Photo Month, we didn't do so many things online. But of course, we try also, especially from the last year, that we have a lovely guy, Juan Moncayo, who came from Colombia to volunteer the festival. We are recording a lot of talks, etc. That now they are in our YouTube channel, but we did mainly everything on live. Of course, then we try to put as many material accessible to everybody, like the special New Talents magazine that Grain magazine is doing for us, and then we put there, and then everybody can see those best 10 finalist projects and blah, blah. But of course, from any situation you learn. And this year we are having a very good and rich content in a digital form that the local people can enjoy, but the people from wherever. That is also very important. Okay, Chiara, can you show us any other photo more from last year edition?
Yes, I have some. Well, I started with the La Termica ones. I mean, the power station I was showing you. So now you can see some picture of an exhibition at the power station.
Okay.
The exhibition was last year edition, is Marceli Antunes, which is a really well-known Catalan artist. He's one of the founder of La Fura de los Baus.
Yes. I will tell you that we have one of the best painters of Serbia, for me, one of the best, absolutely, who lives in Paris, Belgrade, that this year he makes something with the Fura de los Baus.
Ah, wow.
Some painting for them, yes. Curious.
Sí. Wow.
Yes.
And so this is well, let's start. There were a lot of installations and videos around the power station. And this was the universe. I was talking about the moon, but this was the own universe of Marceli Antunes. And also we decided the title of the exhibition was Transelenita because Marceli, along with other artists, has been chosen for testing the absence of gravity. So there was a video of showing his experience in this.
Okay.
There was an installation you could put your head inside and see things happening. That was what was happening in the screen. And the animation was with your face detected by the camera in that box. And this was the video I was talking about before. So was the artist with these strange things on his body that was testing the absence of gravity.
The space was perfect for the topic, it means.
Was yes.
Wow.
It's Marceli.
I remember.
That was really nice also because there were a lot of videos. So actually a video was making like a spotlight, you know, in the darkness. So it was really aesthetically very nice to see.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have some photos of the other venues? I remember you mentioned before this fantastic museum of Granollers. That is another thing that surprised me very much because I was never there. It was for me the first time, and it was very impressive. The design, in talking about architecture, but also the works that they have inside. Also, I think that this workplace, Martin Parr exhibition, I think that was there.
Yes, indeed. I'll show you the exhibition. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes, I can see me there in a corner.
There you go, indeed. So that was an exhibition. So this is the museum, as you were saying, and actually it's the last floor of the museum. It's really, really a big space. And well, the exhibition was not a photography one, even though we were speaking about Martin Parr, but that was not a picture exhibition. So that was really interesting because Martin Parr is also a big collector.
Yes.
And he has this collection, which I think belongs to Magnum as well. And I mean, at least has been shown in the Magnum agency. And it's a collection of souvenirs, all belonging to the Russian. The Russian indeed. And there are souvenirs of the landing on the of the dogs which has been sent to the moon by
not only Laika that is the famous one, also the others. No, because Laika was the famous one, but yes, it was not the only one.
Was not the only, indeed. And in the souvenirs there were also astronauts. So was. But the collection is called Space Dogs because mainly it talks about Laika. And And you have, I can show you because maybe you see it better.
We're talking about Russian objects. Well, here we have a John Foncuberta, if somebody don't knows him.
He was explaining the exhibitions. Here you can see some object, but I also downloaded some picture of the, that's the empty space, more to show you like how is the museum itself. So that's an alarm, a clock.
Yes.
This is a cigarette, a box to carry your cigarettes. It's another wall watch, and that's a plate. I think it really catches this kitschy part of souvenirs, but also their beauty, like kind of, you know.
They were, I remember some ones that look like if you at home, you cut it, you know, and you stick. It's not like they're selling nowhere. It is.
Yeah, it was like a collage, no? Handmade. Yes, this was really interesting. Exactly.
And you had also, I suppose that every year you have the exhibition in the cinema because this connection with the Festival of Photography and Cinema.
Yes. One of our partners is Cinema Edison, which I'm trying to wait. Cinema Edison is a cinema, but also organizing a lot of essay movie. So it's an important point in Granollers about history of cinema as well. And they have also a nice space upstairs where we managed to organize the exhibition. It was very nice in terms of walls and lights, so it really fits.
You had a group exhibition. There are not 3 or 4 artists.
It was a collective one. Yes, it was called Ultima Thule.
Yes, I remember.
And I have some picture of this as well. So. Okay. Well,
Martin Parr collections go beyond film and photography and sculpture and whatever, and souvenirs, paraphernalia. This is. But there's an interesting thing to that, which is that when we think of, for instance, 20th century, and we try to document it or to explain our 20th century to a Martian, for instance, we wouldn't take first documentary images or images from reporters. We probably explain our life through advertising and fictions. So the difference between film and photo, fact and fiction is not that important. Finally, everything is a document. Even these popular souvenirs had their importance aesthetically, but also explain a time and a certain naivete on the Russian people and on the authorities too. So finally, these are very important documents somehow.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But also, I mean, they are important, they are interesting, they are. Everybody can watch it and enjoy it. I mean, if you bring a kid, will not be bored there. You know, means.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. It's actually a way of documented in the view of Martin Parr, because he analyzes those aspects of life using those kitsch souvenirs and talking about tourists, but actually goes deeper, no? So I guess that's really his point of view.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, his collection is made of, which makes sense, of course, is made of any kind of product where there's a photography printed in. Yeah. So it can be a plate, it can be a t-shirt or whatever, but the common thing is that there is a photograph printed on it. No, we used to think of photograph on paper, but as a matter of fact, he's interested in all the rest in his collections of souvenirs or objects, or that's what they have in common.
Yeah, of course.
So here you see, well, I wanted to show you the space, but that's the first picture that came up. So that's one of the exhibition of the artist is Javier Arsenillas. So this is a project on the Area 51 in the US. This is a Catalan artist, a lady's Rispa. And those are planets which look really real. They could be pictures of scientific planets, but actually is a positive made by contact as a reaction of a silver, I wouldn't know how to, a silver analog way of developing. So yeah. I didn't know how to explain in English. But so this is completely, those are not real planets, but they really look like a scientific study.
Well, in fact, this exhibition was quite fake somehow.
Yeah, exactly. See.
Fake because of Joan Foncuberta. Fake is a common ground on Panoramic somehow. It's here and there.
It's always a joke behind.
No, I mean, not because they're fake, but because there is this powerful suggestion of what's in between fact and fiction. And this is a terrain we love. We love them all.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to have, I don't know if it's on sale. The last, one book by Joan that was published in Galaxy, I think. I have it here. I don't know if it's in English because I would like to recommend everybody to read it. It's about post photography. Yeah. Later I will show you because now Chiara has the screen. The fairy of the images.
Ah, yes. But do you have it in English? You have it in English?
No, I have in Spanish. The people from Galaxia gave me, but I would like to know if it's also in English somewhere because it's a fascinating book.
We will ask.
Yes.
Let's see. And so, okay, this is a lady's Rispa, and then you have Ruben Torres, but that's really a far picture. I would talk about that project. It's really, really nice. That's a space in the cinema.
That is what I want to tell you. Means we are talking about a cinema, not a mainstream room, but this space is incredible. Again,
that is really beautiful.
You see the ceiling with this concrete is.
Yeah.
The walls are rounded because it's quite white space with just these columns. It's perfect.
And the lighting also was very good for the exhibition. This is a very interesting project, which is also like kind of a fake one. It's a real project, but a fake thing. And those UFO, or I don't know, how would you call it, like space ships, they actually is a huge work of post-production. But if you really look at them like from close, that is perfect. And they are all made by house devices, like kitchen devices, or like all the things you use to clean the house, to do things in the house. And he put them together, building those spaceships.
Yes, it was crazy. Yeah, I remember perfectly. And yeah, you see it far, and it's wow, and you are close, and you're fuck.
This is really super nice work. A super nice work, this one. I guess, yeah, there you go.
Let me ask you something. When we saw the work by Martin Parr, for example, in the museum, we saw all these objects. How do you manage in the festival regarding production or transport? Because it means I know how big is the work. I know in Belgrade is a big world because we don't have we have borders all around. We are not EU, and then to transport is a very big thing. How do you manage there?
That was also because those objects have an economical value, so you have to send them from the UK, where is from Bristol actually, to Granollers. So then you have to arrange proper transportation, be sure, like get in touch with insurance companies to insure all pieces, and then you get them in box properly packed by Martin Parr Foundation, and you receive them. So that was a production test to get along with. But at the end, it was also very nice when you receive, because when you do an exhibition normally, well, of course, it depends by exhibitions, but we are used to receive the files and then we print, we produce the exhibition itself. We actually produced some exhibition in Panoràmic, then afterwards we went to other festivals. So we were proud to give life to new exhibitions, but normally we receive the files from the artist and then we provide to print them.
This is something that I wanted to ask you. If you transport the, I mean, in the case of Martin Park, because they are unique pieces, but in general, if you transport the materials, or you are producing there in Granollers, well, in Barcelona.
Yes. Somehow, I think also because, well, of course, it depends if they are unique pieces. So, but normally is less expensive to produce them in the place than sending them, especially, and it depends by the size that you are thinking, no, for your exhibition. But we have also in Rocomber, there is also this quite big printing company, and they are also part of the festival. So we have a collaboration between them, and this is a big, huge help.
Can you stop the sharing?
Oh, sorry.
No, don't worry.
Voila.
No, it was fine. It was just now, because I want to ask something that is connecting a little bit with Andres. I think you are still there.
I am.
Yeah, no, I know that you are. I say that Chiara is.
It's not a frozen picture.
I am, yes.
Yeah, but you're still sharing. Can you stop the sharing the screen?
What am I doing? This is sharing.
You have to go to the top. There is this and share.
Wait. Su función de compartir las pantallas. But now, what do you see?
The same still. In the top part, you have something like. Yes. Okay. Perfect.
There you go. Okay.
Yes. Okay, Andres. I wanted to ask you, because when somehow after deciding the topic and you start to think in which works do you want to show when it's between all your team, of course I suppose that you take in consideration which spaces do you have to show them. Well, I don't know if I asked to Chiara or to Andres. I asked to both, and whoever can answer. It means you take in consideration the spaces that you have, thinking the project that you are going to select or to choose.
Well, the problem is that sometimes when you think of a subject and can be as powerful as film stills or 1968, the problem is that many of the artists that answer the call and introduce their works, it doesn't have to deal exactly with May 1968. It's all around that idea, from revolution to contestation, whatever. So in this first edition, Felix and I, what we have done is to provide a certain imaginarium on what was the film still world about, from advertising to art photography. So in this case, we've done several exhibitions just to of how popular culture has dealt with that idea, from the landing to the moon, or the moon itself in the popular imaginary, to film stills. In this case, we've had like a central place. It's called Dents de Serra, which is like a classical industrial site with teeth shape. But I don't know. I'm not sure if this year will be like that. I think it won't. We're placed somewhere else. But every year depends on the place we are occupying. I know this year we're placed in several buildings and institutions, so it's gonna get farther, much farther. In fact, our exhibition, Felix and I, but it depends on every edition. I think we thought that the first editions should appeal very clearly to the people. They have to understand what was going on and what is to exhibit photography, still image and moving image. And that sort of imaginarium was like like a wallpaper, like a giant wallpaper with all sorts of images, which could be shared in family or by school kids or whoever. They know where were they landing. Oh, so it's this about, and they could check all the rest of the artists. So that for the first edition, that was a central place. I think not anymore. I think the festival has been already introduced and people know what they can expect. So this year we won't be there. But I think it depends on the people who organized technically also the exhibition. And they tell me, what about this place for you? It's all right. Then it's all right. As you have seen, there are many interesting places, not just one.
Because then I'm going to make a question probably now. This one is more for you, Chiara. I know that like you mentioned, you have a deal with some spaces that you are using in general every year, or that you can use, like we talk the cinema, for example. You can exhibit there every year. Is an easy place to put an exhibition because it's like a gallery space, clean walls, white. But I know you were in the Museum of Natural, I don't remember where it was, these photos from, and it means you have always some spaces that you can use for the festival, that you have a deal that you offer to them to see which exhibition will be placed in any place. Did you have any time a requirement that we need a space like this and we have to look for?
No, because probably if you start like this, then you get into complications. You see what I mean?
Probably this old factory is so big that is giving a lot of options, I suppose.
That's also a thing. So we try to adapt the exhibition to the space, which is not difficult because, as you said, the space is really huge. What that could be interesting, maybe this too, because it could get the point. This year we had a lot of screenings, so we were thinking to screen some projects in the place where last year we did the book exhibitions and Andrea exhibition as well, which is very big, and that's very nice. As a lot of light, and this is super beautiful when you have to exhibit pictures, but that's not really nice if you have to project stuff, because then you have to close all the windows, and on a building that big, then it's such a work, so this is what we're gonna do. So in this case, we will adapt the place to our needs, and that is not convenient, but if you want to do it, then you will do it. But normally Rockenberg gives really a lot of space, and then this year we have the collaboration of Santa Monica, so probably we also got very lucky in getting partners like those ones, which are really exhibition places. We were trying also, as I said, to organize exhibitions in bars where it's going to be probably more complicated, or small galleries. Then yes, you have limitation in space, but when you get in touch with institutional museums, then the space is for you,
But you are still looking at, we'll talk about Barcelona very soon, but you are still looking for new places in Granollers, for example?
We were thinking to get involved with some locals business, like bars, cafes, restaurants, or shops, because that could be interesting to. I think there is spread this feeling that it can get you scared getting into a gallery, or can get you scared getting into a museum, or I don't know, but then if you see an exhibition in a shop, then you watch it. So that maybe could be a way to get in touch with the population. Another way.
For me, like Andres said before, it means this festival is not only for one side or for the other. It means we have to show good artists, we have to promote the young ones, and blah blah blah. And it's like this. And for me, my personal opinion, like we saw in Model Photo and in other festivals, that is, of course, it's perfect to have the beautiful museums. But like you say, it's also sometimes when you have an exhibition in a cafe or in a nice shop, of course, it has to be a cafe for exhibitions or the shop.
Yes.
You are approaching to everybody. You are including somehow the community that is part of the festival, because you are in Granollers. The people from Granollers has to feel part.
Exactly.
And making difference. And the point, recently I was talking with somebody from another festival, and he told me something that also the problem that you can have sometimes is that probably not every artist want to be in a cafe or in a shop, but for me, in a festival, there is a space for different types, levels, or whatever you want to do.
Completely. And actually, I think a good example is Arles, no? In this sense, the off one, because of course the official, then we're talking about huge venues, but in the off, where you can really find new artists and discover new art, new photographers. They are exhibition in some like interesting places, and I think this is the way it should be, actually, because if you're an emergent talent, you cannot like immediately think about a museum. That would be quite, so you need to spread your work, and I think this is a really good opportunity. And Perpignan also, they have like the off festival, they have like shops and any kind of bars or places where you put people together that become a new venue or way of showing projects. So if we could do it, that would be really fantastic.
For me, I always remember before to open the first BelgradePhotoMonth, I went to few festivals, and I remember when I was in Paris, it was Paris Photo. It was Moda de la Photo and Moda de la Photo off at the same time, on that time. I think that was the year before the terrorist attack. Yeah. And I enjoy a lot Moda de la Photo off for these different proposals, different spaces. And for me, somehow, because of course, before to do the first edition of the festival, you cannot, I like to look up, but you have to be conscious of the reality. And the concept of Moda de la Photo off, I like it in this term, that you can show good works in different spaces that could be surprising. And also, of course, there are some artists that probably they don't want to be there, but others, they're very pleased to be there. And the result is at the end is very good.
Indeed, but this is, I think this happens in every field. But that's a personal. But I have many musician friends, they came out from the Academy of Music, and they like very good jazz musicians, and they start playing their first concerts in bars. At least this was happening in North Europe, but that's the first venue you have to show yourself, and then maybe you never know what is going to happen, what kind of producer you can find. Well, this is still a way that the world goes.
Yeah, we had. I will tell you that we had 2 years ago. We had an excellent exhibition by Gali Tibon in the Museum of Africa. That is a very beautiful museum. We have it outside in the garden. It was incredible. And then suddenly, well, the deal was that the big park of the city, if you remember, Calamegdan, that is in the extreme of the city, they give us these metal panels. They give us to use for free for the exhibition, and then we just need to pay the transport, I think. And then these panels, they went to the park, and they were for 1 month there. And then after this, last year, I think, when I was in Paris Photo with Gali Tibon, she told me that she met with a guy, editor from I don't remember from which company, and he said to her, "Oh yes, I saw your work in Belgrade, in Calamegdan Park." You know, you never know. It's like this, yes. As much visibility you have.
Exactly.
Okay. And
but
then
I have to say that in the second edition of Granollers, we organized an exhibition of Marcelo Brodsky, which I mean is now a new talent, and we did it all around the external walls of Rocca Humbert, and so that gives this rough. Well, it was still a very nice venue, but as this rough feeling, like could be the photographers sticking pictures in Arles, no, in the narrow alleys of the village. So
it's beautiful. And you talking about the venues, you say one name. I don't know if you can say it, you can repeat it, but talking about Barcelona, it means, like you say before, this year you will have 1 foot also in Barcelona, and you say the name Santa Monica.
Yeah. Santa Monica is confirmed. I mean that we can talk about it. Like, is certain. We're gonna have a collective exhibition, which is gonna be created by Mercè Alsina, the new member this year of the advisors team. And we're gonna screen also all the projects of Panoràmic, which is the call we were talking about before. And yes, and we're gonna have another exhibition. Like, well, we're gonna have a guest this year. It's gonna be Antoine D'Agata.
Okay.
And yes, let's see. We're gonna do the exhibition in Santa Monica. We are working on this. With the exhibition is gonna be in Barcelona.
For the people who is not from Barcelona, I will say that Santa Monica is an incredible space in the down part of La Ramblas, dedicated to the art, obviously, to the image in general, no? I mean, mainly.
Yes.
They used to do that. So, yeah.
It's an important meeting point when it comes also to art libris, no? When it comes to
Exactly, because you mentioned you're doing art libris there.
Yeah, which is May, I guess, or April. I don't remember exactly.
I think that is May after BelgradePhotoMonth. Normally, yes, it's May, I think.
Yes.
Okay, let me say, because now I say that somebody's making a question, I will answer directly. Marian in Facebook is asking if we know any photo event in Croatia, if we are familiar with. I will say that yes, in Zagreb, there is a very, very good festival. The name is Organ Vida, that normally is in September. I think that is biannual. I'm not sure if it will be this year or the next. But Marian, yes, there is Organ Vida. You can find it there. Okay, going back to the conversation. What else? Yes, now I'm going to go to the difficult question of the day, of the night, or the evening.
Save the best for last.
How you manage with the funding?
Well, we have the luck of being supported by.
It has to be said that this is a free open space. No, Chiara? I mean, all the exhibitions are free entrance. That's important to say, which gives a very nice flow of people, artists, students, and families. And from the side of the artists, it has to be said that they are rewarded somehow also. So it's not just,
yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Well, and by the way, that to participate is for free also.
Yeah, they participate for free. They get a reward if they have been selected in the calls, and also if they do an exhibition. Of course, we pay them their fees. So we do not let people paying any entrance, neither for the festival, neither for the movies. Nothing is totally free, and it's gonna be totally free also in Barcelona. Also, the workshops are for free. So it's really an activity that is offered by the institutions. We are supported by the City Hall of Granollers and Rocambert together. And then we are supported by La Generalitat de Catalunya, which I wouldn't know. Maybe you know it better how to translate it in English, because
it's the Catalan government. The Generalitat de Catalunya.
Voilà. And La Diputació de Barcelona, which is the smallest entity. And so those are our funds. We are not funds by, we got help by a private foundation, not like, but normally those are our
main
partners and supporters. Yes, indeed. And this is thanks to them we can let people enjoy the activities for free completely. Absolutely. By paying the artist, which is also important, because normally, it's also that the other side of festivals. Sometimes organizations ask artists to show their works without getting any reward, and that's not.
I know.
Exactly. So I think that's nice for them. Yes.
Absolutely. We have to give thanks always to support the culture. That, in fact, we don't have to give the thanks, because it's support that it has to do.
Indeed. Is their job actually?
Yes.
No.
Let me ask you. You mentioned about that the workshops are for free, because I would like. I mean, if somebody else has a question, can do it again. I read one. I want to say that, of course, you can visit the website of Panoràmic Festival. You will see all the program with activities, exhibitions, and etc. We would like to invite everybody to go there, because Corona will be at home and you will be out enjoying the streets. There are very few places better than Barcelona, and Granollers is very nice as well, and very easy to arrive there by train. Then for the people who will come to visit, the people that will come from Belgrade, from Serbia for sure, from Mozambique, or for Kuala Lumpur. The material in general is bilingual, trilingual probably.
Let's say that, yes, I mean, all the description of projects in the room, like the flyer of the exhibition itself, yes. And when it comes to projection, it really depends by the file that the distribution is available. So normally they are all original languages. If we have luck, we have the Spanish subtitles, but that's really it's difficult because, like, in terms of production distribution company, even if the distribution company is from Spain or they all the rights from Spain, it doesn't mean that the movie is dubbed or subtitles.
Of course. But they're in the original language in case, and sometimes with the subtitles.
And normally it's English. I mean, if it would be Finnish, with all the due respect, but we cannot screen it because that would be complicated without subtitles.
Of course.
Yeah, but so that normally is in English. So yes. And, when it comes to
talking about the workshops,
we didn't have this problem until now. We normally run them in Spanish because yes, not in Catalan, because then it could be there are people from outside Catalonia, but we didn't have the problem with the English yet. So let's see. I think that it depends by the speaker. In that case, this year we're gonna have Florencia Liberti, which is a young cinema director, and I suppose normally she should speak English. Laia Bril is the other one who is gonna run a workshop. If there's gonna be the need, or they're gonna do it in English, or we're gonna provide a translator.
Okay, it means normally, no, it's mainly because, you know, not everybody speaks Spanish or Catalan, of course, especially if they're from Kuala Lumpur or Mozambique. And then it means for me, like a visitor of a festival, and I try to do the same with BelgradePhotoMonth, is at least to know if will be in which language will be, or if will be in English. It means the people have this information.
Yes. We
Okay.
normally provide it in English, in 3 languages. So we have the Catalan, the Spanish, and the English option. And then we go with the moment a little bit, and let's see.
Well,
yeah.
Of course, for us it's also the same. We can predict.
Also, exactly. Not always is needed. That's also the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But we did have international students, for example. This I can tell you, and we were translating the conferences.
I imagine. And in the website, I suppose it means for the workshop, the people have to apply. There is they have to send an application just to go there, or how they have to do.
Yeah, they have to access the website, and they're gonna find an application form they should fill up, and that's only because one person cannot run a workshop for 30 people. That's just a limitation of the space and of the teacher itself. So we ask for a motivation letter because we have a lot of participants, and then we're gonna decide.
You have to choose.
Yes, but just probably we could also cross the limit a little bit, but there is a limit in general that we cannot put 50 people together with one professor. Also because they need there are, for example, this year we have an editing workshop, so they're gonna be with laptop and they need a little bit of attention. So
yeah, it's what they want to say, that depending on the workshop, it means it's not just a talk or lecture. It means you have to interact with the person.
Exactly.
Lost in yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, for the people from Belgrade, that is the main part of our audition. We say that on the time we'll have direct flights, I suppose, with Air Serbia and with Vueling. They are cheap. You can go to Barcelona easily and to enjoy the summer. Can you remember us the days of the festival?
Yes, so we're gonna the opening days in Granollers are gonna be they're gonna start the 15th of October until the 18th. So it's from Thursday till Sunday, and always from Thursday till Tuesday, till Sunday is gonna be in Barcelona, the 25th, the 22 from the 25th of October. But all exhibitions are gonna last until the 29th.
Okay. clear. It means you say
Of
15.
November, not October. So they're gonna last them. The exhibition are gonna last a month. I told you the date of the opening days.
Yes, it's what they want to say. 15 to 18 in Granollers, 22nd, 25th in Barcelona. We are talking about the days of the opening, where the artists are there, where there are workshops and these activities.
Exactly.
And the exhibitions will be there to be visited during the next 1 month, more or less.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yes.
It sounds very exciting.
Thank you.
Wait. I can't wait to go if I can fly. No, it's a joke.
You will, David.
We'll come be there. Okay, I don't know. There is something else that probably we missed because I am a disaster organizing the talk. Something that I missed, something that you want to say. Say it now or whatever.
Now or never. No, we're very happy to have you as a partner. That's also an important point. I think collaboration with other festivals is really important. Both, I think it's also a good opportunity for the artists we are all working with, because we can exchange venues and they have more visibility, and also is a way of putting together, like for the organizers to putting together experiences and to share. So I think it's really important, and we are thankful to you and BelgradePhotoMonth for this.
I mean, I can tell you the same because it's a fantastic experience. It means we grow up, we learn things always, and the important, like Andres said before, to share the words of the young people, to share this experience, to give the opportunity sometimes to them to travel and to be there and to meet other photographers, already young people like themselves, is priceless.
Yes.
And we know how hard it is for them now. Before it was, but now it's a hell. And then if we have the chance to do these things, because sometimes we can have the funding, sometimes we have the organization that can contact an embassy to ask support if we don't have the capacity ourselves, like it happens with us. And this is very, very important. And then when you see them there and when you see how happy they are, I will tell you that when you mention that that your team selects some of the project of the new talents, and I contact them, I just read the letters. I didn't read the faces, but I can tell you how happy they were, and I can imagine if it was myself. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's for the public, but it's for the artists. So I think that's a nice way to keep their project going, no?
But in that case, me and the BelgradePhotoMonth team, we feel like parents of them somehow. And this is giving us a bit happipiness also to us. That something that we are doing is giving an extra value that we didn't expect, and this is priceless. Then I will say again, thank you also in BelgradePhotoMonth team name. Andres?
Voila.
Okay, Andres, something else? We missed something for your part? You want to say something? Yep.
Is it?
Andres? Yes.
See?
Yes.
I'm here.
I was asking if we forget something, if you want to tell us something. You want to say something to us before we finish?
No, to thank you. To thank you the opportunity to share this time and to know more, a little more also about your festival, which I'll be glad to go anytime when we are able to travel again. But as we stated, it's important to gather, to reunite us, and to have contact, physical contact also.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Well then, thank you very much to both. We'll see in Barcelona. If we don't see before in Belgrade, we're going to see in Barcelona.
Great.
Totally.
Okay. Thank you very much and good work.
Thank you. You too. Congratulations for the New Talents 2020 that we're gonna activate as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Okay. We want to say again, thanks to Panoramic Festival to share with us this afternoon, to show us better what they are doing and what we can enjoy if we go there. And I just suggest everybody to go if you can. Then now, just for ending, just to say that on Thursday, again at 5, we'll be talking with Linda. She's the director of Amman Image Amman Festival. Is our third partner in this for this edition. If everything goes well, the idea is that we'll have a photographer from Jordan and we'll have a photographer from Belgrade there. But they had to delay the festival already. And well, Linda will talk to us about the plans for this year or for this year edition. Okay, thank you very much to all of you for being here, and see you soon. Be well. Ciao.